Jessica Shannon, known to fans as Chubbs, has spent most of her life growing up in front of millions of viewers. From the early days of reality television fame to the chaotic ups and downs of the Shannon family, Jessica has always been part of a story filled with laughter, heartbreak, and controversy. But nothing could have prepared fans for the dramatic storm that erupted around what was supposed to be one of the happiest milestones of her life, her wedding. Instead of being a joyful family celebration, Jessica's wedding plans turned into a shocking conflict filled with accusations of betrayal, emotional confrontations, and a growing rift between her and her own sister, Lauryn "Pumpkin" Efird. What started as a beautiful moment for Jessica quickly transformed into a situation that revealed long-buried family tensions, unresolved emotions, and years of complicated relationships finally boiling over. Fans who have followed the Shannon family since their earliest television days know that drama has never been far away. But this time, the situation felt different. This wasn't just another loud argument or dramatic moment for reality TV. This was a deeply personal conflict that touched the very core of the sisters' relationship. To truly understand why this wedding drama exploded the way it did, you have to understand the complicated history of the Shannon family. Their story began long before wedding bells and family feuds dominated headlines. Back in 2012, the world was introduced to a loud, unfiltered, and unforgettable family from Georgia. Mama June Shannon and her daughters, Anna Chickadee Cardwell, Jessica Chubbs Shannon, Lauryn "Pumpkin" Efird, and Alana "Honey Boo Boo" Thompson, quickly became reality television icons. The show that introduced them to the world captured the family's wild personalities, messy but loving relationships, and a lifestyle that felt both chaotic and oddly relatable. Millions of viewers tuned in every week to watch the unpredictable household. The show wasn't polished or glamorous like many other reality programs at the time. Instead, it felt raw and authentic. The sisters joked with each other, teased one another, argued loudly, and then just as quickly went back to laughing together. Their personalities were bold, unapologetic, and real. Fans were fascinated by the dynamic between the sisters. Each one had her own personality, her own role within the family. Alana was the breakout star with her unforgettable one-liners and pageant antics that quickly became viral moments. Pumpkin was often the outspoken middle sister who never hesitated to say exactly what she thought, even if it started an argument. Anna, the eldest, carried a certain maturity that sometimes placed her in the role of mediator, trying to calm situations when emotions got out of control. And Jessica, quietly observant, witty, and often underestimated, was the sister who seemed to stay slightly outside the spotlight, but remained deeply connected to everyone else. While the cameras captured the funny moments, they also captured the chaos that came with the family's lifestyle. Over time, viewers began to see that beneath the laughter, there were deeper struggles happening behind the scenes. Fame brought attention, but it also brought intense public criticism, rumors, and personal struggles. Mama June's battles with addiction and legal trouble caused serious fractures within the family. Trust was broken in ways that would take years to repair. Relationships that once seemed unbreakable suddenly felt fragile. For the daughters, the situation forced them to grow up much faster than they ever expected. They had to navigate adulthood while the entire world watched their family drama unfold on television and social media. Every argument became public. Every emotional moment became a headline. During that period, Lauryn "Pumpkin" Efird stepped into a leadership role that few people had anticipated. When the family faced one of its darkest chapters, Pumpkin became the person trying to hold everything together. She took responsibility for helping raise her younger sister Alana during a time when her mother was struggling with serious issues. Eventually, she became Alana's legal guardian. For many fans, this transformation changed the way they viewed Pumpkin entirely. The outspoken teenager they once knew had become a young mother carrying the responsibility of protecting her family. She was suddenly juggling parenting, financial pressure, and emotional stress all at once. Jessica's journey during this same time period was quieter, but just as important. Instead of staying at the center of the family drama, she focused on building her own path forward. Over time, she began opening up about her personal life and her identity. When she publicly embraced her relationship with her partner, Shyann, many fans felt proud watching her live authentically. For viewers who had watched her grow up on television, Jessica's personal growth felt meaningful. She was no longer just one of the sisters from a chaotic reality show. She was becoming her own person, someone carving out a life that reflected who she truly was. So when news of Jessica's engagement surfaced, fans were genuinely excited. After everything the family had endured over the years, scandals, public criticism, and heartbreaking losses, the idea of a wedding felt like a hopeful turning point. It felt like something positive, something that could bring the family together again after years of emotional distance. Jessica herself seemed hopeful that the wedding would be more than just a ceremony. She saw it as a chance for healing, a moment where the family could focus on love instead of conflict. But behind the scenes, things were far more complicated than they appeared. The Shannon family had already been going through one of the most emotionally devastating periods in their lives. The loss of Anna Chickadee Cardwell left a deep and painful scar on everyone. Anna had been the eldest sister, someone who shared a special connection with each member of the family. Her illness came as a devastating shock. Watching someone so young face such a serious health battle was heartbreaking. The family rallied around her during those difficult months, but the outcome was something no one was prepared to accept. Her passing created a void that the family is still struggling to process. Grief affects everyone differently. Some people withdraw into themselves, others become more protective of the people around them, and sometimes grief brings unresolved tensions to the surface. For Jessica, planning a wedding while still grieving the loss of her sister created an emotional roller coaster. Moments that should have been joyful were often mixed with sadness. She wanted Anna to be there. She wanted her sister to witness this new chapter of her life, and that absence made everything more emotional. Jessica hoped that her wedding could become a moment of healing for the family, a celebration, a reminder that even after tragedy, life continues. But planning a wedding in a family already filled with unresolved emotions proved to be far more difficult than anyone expected. At first, the disagreements seemed minor. Conversations about decorations, guest lists, and wedding arrangements occasionally turned tense. Different opinions started clashing. In most families, those types of disagreements are normal during wedding planning, but in the Shannon family, emotions rarely stay quiet for long. Small disagreements slowly turned into deeper arguments. Soon, tensions began growing between Jessica and Pumpkin. For years, the sisters had appeared close. They teased each other constantly, supported each other during difficult times, and shared countless moments that convinced fans their bond was strong. But sibling relationships are rarely as apparent on the surface. Growing up in the same household, facing the same family struggles, and living through the same public spotlight creates a complicated emotional history. As wedding planning continued, those buried tensions started resurfacing. At some point during the process, something happened that Jessica interpreted as a betrayal. While the exact details remained unclear at first, the intensity of her reaction made it obvious that the situation had deeply hurt her. The confrontation that followed became one of the most emotional moments the family had experienced in years. Jessica finally reached a breaking point. Frustrations that had clearly been building for months suddenly exploded. In a moment filled with anger and heartbreak, she told her sister that she was done dealing with the dysfunction. Those words shocked fans. Jessica had often been viewed as one of the calmer members of the family. Hearing her speak with that level of frustration revealed just how deeply the conflict had affected her. But Pumpkin, however, is never someone who quietly accepts criticism. Known for her strong personality and blunt honesty, she has always stood her ground in family arguments.
As the confrontation escalated, other family members became involved. Some tried to calm the situation, others unintentionally made things worse by choosing sides. Mama June found herself caught in the middle yet again.
For her, watching her daughters fight was painful. After everything the family had gone through, she wanted to believe they could move forward without repeating the same cycles of conflict. But family wounds don't disappear overnight. At the same time, Pumpkin was dealing with major changes in her own life. Her divorce from Josh Efird marked the end of a relationship that had lasted for years. The two had built a life together and shared children, making the separation incredibly emotional. Then came another unexpected twist when Pumpkin revealed she had started seeing someone new. The relationship sparked confusion because of complicated connections within the extended family circle. Even though she explained that there were no direct family ties involved, the situation still caused awkward conversations among relatives and fans. With grief, divorce, new relationships, and unresolved tension all happening at the same time, Jessica's wedding planning became the spark that ignited everything. For Jessica, the most painful part wasn't just the argument itself. It was the feeling that someone she trusted completely had crossed a line during one of the most important moments of her life. Betrayal inside families is rarely about a single event. More often, it represents the breaking point after years of emotional pressure, misunderstandings, and unspoken resentment finally explode. Fans quickly began debating the situation online. Some believed Jessica deserved full support during her wedding preparations and felt that family drama should have been set aside. Others defended Pumpkin, pointing out that she had carried enormous responsibility for years and might have simply reached her emotional limit. The truth likely lies somewhere in the complicated middle. The Shannon sisters grew up under circumstances few people can understand. Their childhoods unfolded on national television. Their family struggles became entertainment for millions of viewers. Living under that kind of spotlight can strengthen family bonds in some ways, but it can also magnify every disagreement. As this new chapter of their story unfolds, one question continues to linger. Can Jessica and Pumpkin repair their relationship? Siblings argue all the time, but sometimes words spoken in anger leave scars that take a long time to heal. For Jessica, this moment represents more than just wedding stress. It represents a test of whether the family that has survived so much together can still find a way to move forward. Fans who have followed the Shannon family for more than a decade feel deeply connected to their story. They watched these sisters grow up together. They witnessed their childhood laughter, their teenage conflicts, and their adult struggles. Now they are watching one of the most important moments of Jessica's life unfold under the shadow of family conflict. Despite everything, there is still hope that the family can find their way back to each other. The Shannon family has survived scandals, addiction battles, financial struggles, and heartbreaking loss. If there is one thing their story has always shown, it's that no matter how loud the arguments become, the bond between them has a strange way of pulling them back together. But whether that bond will be strong enough to overcome the accusations of betrayal surrounding Jessica's wedding remains uncertain. For now, fans can only watch as the drama continues unfolding, revealing new layers of emotion, history, and complicated family dynamics. And as Jessica prepares to walk down the aisle and begin a new chapter of her life, one question remains hanging in the air. Will this wedding become the moment that finally heals the Shannon family, or will it be the moment that changes their relationships forever? Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this.